The thing about Vosen, we like to put people first. And when we're talking earthquakes and tsunamis, this is life or death.
912 ambulance, 75-year-old male, back pain. It's too.
How do we leverage our tech and advance what's happening in Indonesia?
So Indonesia is a fascinating place because I think there's close to 17,000 islands. There's 700 different languages there. And when you hear that, this just, I don't know, ties perfectly into what you guys do.
One thing that we are not is a dubbing or translation technology.
Hey everyone, my name's Jay Quarmby. I'm sitting here with Andor, one of the co-founders of Vosen, and I thought it'd be great to sit down with him and have a conversation as they're about to embark on a roadshow across Dubai and throughout Asia, and love to just kind of pick your brain on what you guys are hoping to achieve as you go on that trip.
Hey, Jay, always a pleasure sitting with you. You're absolutely right. Brian, our president, is going on a road trip, and it's all investor related and impact related. And I think for those who are listening to this discussion with us, I think it's probably important for me to kind of get a little into who Vosen is. I mean, correct?
Correct.
So, we are solving a 30-year-old problem. So the internet by nature has been treating translation as a find and replace word activity. What happens in that process is that the person itself is lost, context is lost, content is lost, intent is lost, emotions, tone, and even cultural nuances is lost.
Yeah.
And Vosen, we decided to build a foundation large language model. And this is built on a very core principle of preservation. And if you think about language, we are moving away from the internet browser that's been 30 years old, and we're creating this experience engine. And with that experience engine, we are breaking down what we call the last frontier of language barrier. And for the first time ever, we're going to have every single person around the world being understood and being present.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
think so.
exciting.
I think so.
So one of the last stops on your road trip is going to be Indonesia. Funnily, I'll tell you a little story about Indonesia. It's actually a very close country to my heart because I actually spent many years there as a child. So I know Indonesia very well, and I actually was in Indonesia earlier this year on one of the very small islands there. So I'm excited to talk about this with you. So Indonesia is a fascinating place because I think there's close to 17,000 islands. There's 700 different languages there. And when you hear that, this just, I don't know, ties perfectly into what you guys do.
Yeah.
To have that many different people all in one spot trying to, use services and communicate with each other, it's quite remarkable, to be honest. And when you think of Indonesia, they're starting to bring in an AI disaster program, which will help be able to tell people when a tsunami comes or an earthquake as quickly as possible. So when I hear that, I think on one hand, that is amazing. On the other hand, I think, how in the world do you get that to 700 different languages?
So, great. Number one, I didn't know you actually had intimate knowledge of Indonesia. That's super cool. Number two, you're absolutely right. Like, one of the things that we think about is how do we advance the care of individuals. Technology companies like to talk about, RAMs and gigabytes and source codes. The thing about Vosen, we like to put people first. And when we're talking earthquakes and tsunamis, this is life or death. Let's be honest, Jay, that's life or death. If there's a mistranslation or someone doesn't contextually understand what the warning is, that is a life or death decision that they have to make. And this is a passion project, to be honest. This is no longer business for us.
Yeah.
This is a passion project for Vosen when we look at how do we leverage our tech and advance what's happening in Indonesia. So in the event that there is a, God forbid, a tsunami or an earthquake, that the emergency response can be communicated and received in everyone's language in real time and be contextually accurate. So this is near and dear to our heart. All jokes aside, this is very near and dear to our heart in terms of why we get up in the morning at Vosen to see how we can really work with government officials and people in Indonesia specific to these things, disaster relief. There's no impact if I'm sending out disaster relief alerts if the person on the receiving end doesn't understand it.
And on the other hand, they're also launching satellites to try to connect internet to, I think, around 150,000 remote schools and health clinics, which the number sounds so crazy, but when you think of 17,000 islands, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think of all these remote, highly remote places that don't have internet, don't have access to services. This is this is revolutionary to these people that live there. And this is an exciting opportunity to be able to bring these services to them in their own, hopefully in their own language so they can use them.
100%. But as it's exciting, it's extremely challenging, right? Like like you mentioned, what was your number? 150,000, and all on like remote islands. And one thing that we are not is a dubbing or translation technology. This is not a find and replace word type of exercise. This is actually understanding people at its core, in their native tongue, in their understanding their intent, understanding their emotion, understanding the cultural nuances that's baked into it. And if you mentioned emergency response and that keyword emergency, when you talk about emergency, you're talking time sensitive. I need to understand what you're saying immediately so I know what I need to do. If I don't understand what's being on a PBA or what's sent out via text system or email, and I gotta do a Google Translate, or I gotta do 2-3 things to find out, dude, 1 second that is lost, and I'm not trying to be a fearmonger here, Jay, but 1 second delay could mean life or death for a lot of people. And so what am I saying here? I'm saying that I'm super passionate and excited about the Vosen technology and how we could really aid Indonesia in real-time contextual communication. So that could be the difference between life or death. And just being really honest, that could be the difference.
And I think what you're saying is like this is a massive problem that you could actually solve. Because it's like, that's what's exciting, is that there's 700 languages that are going to need access to these programs, to government services, to doctors, any of the new the government's trying to digitize a lot. Indonesia is really trying to push itself forward and digitize things, and like this is a big problem, an exciting project that frankly you guys could actually
when we
help with this.
I'll tell you, when we decided myself and my co-founder Brian, decided to go down the path of building Vosen, I come from a tech background, and he has tech DNA. Okay, but core to him and I was people and helping people. Core. So when I think about earthquakes and tsunamis, when I think about education in remote towns and villages, or the lack of access to, or the lack of health care, and education around health, we've gone far beyond tech now. We're in the people's business. Yep. We're in making people's lives a lot more better. And I want to say that again, I'm going to use that term. This is really a passion project for myself and Brian and for all those that are at Vosen, to really partner with those in Indonesia, whether it's the government officials or whether it's tech companies, whether it's rapid response companies, and really bringing our tech there, because I think any second that is delayed in a emergency response can mean life or and I'm not trying to fearmonger, but it could be life or death. And that's why we're super passionate about our localization experience engine that we're bringing to market, because I think although you can look at your favorite anime videos in the language you may choose, we're probably a lot more passionate about saving lives, you know. And I think this is what we bring to the market in partnership with Indonesia.
The other thing that I'm just thinking about is that there is a level of preservation there for these languages as well, which I think is super important. Yeah. Is that there's the opportunity to keep these 700 languages versus just forcing everyone to either learn English or Bahasa Indonesia, which is the main language there. You know, preservation of culture. You know, some of these islands that, you know, they have 200 people that live on them and speak their own dialect. Like, you know, this is a way of like preserving history and preserving culture in a way that has never been possible before, which I think is really exciting.
And well, you and I are doing this, right? We're not doing this because we got bored. We're doing this because this is near and dear to our passion center. This is near and dear to our core as who we are as individuals. And when I think about what you just said on so many different dialects and languages, and of course, you know, we're in the Western world and there's a push to English, and some languages and dialects are becoming extinct, and that's core to people's cultural norms. We're here to preserve that, and we're trying to preserve it. But in addition to preserving it, we want everyone to be effective in communicating their desires, their wants, as well as me, who's an English speaker, right? We don't want to force everyone to become something that they're not. And I think culturally around the world, when you look at some of these great nations and great countries that are proud of their own culture, I think Vosen kind of waves that flag that, you know, we're culture friendly. Right? If you're looking to preserve culture, you're looking to preserve dialect, you're looking for the young and the old to have meaningful relationships, I think a partnership that we can foster with places like Indonesia is not just something that I think is going to move the needle and advance society. I think it's actually needed to preserve what really is core culturally to places like Indonesia.
So when you're in Indonesia, when Brian's there, what are the opportunities for people to connect with you guys? Do you have any dates?
Yeah, we do. So we're going to be there. Again, if you're looking at this, we're going to be there from December the 3rd to the 6th. And I would say if you're looking at this video before then, reach out to us on what you see as the contact information. We would be delighted. Yeah. Brian, our CEO and co-founder, is going to be there live and in person. We'll be delighted to have conversation with whether you're investor related or press related or
government services or
related. And if you're looking at this discussion post those dates, reach out. I mean, this is not a conversation that's going to be sunsetted.
Yeah.
This is kind of where the world is transitioning, right? To making, it's putting people first in the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's making sure that we have preservations on culture and things that people care about. And I'll be honest with you, this is why all Volsoners actually wake up every morning out of bed. It's to make sure that we have this social impact across the world, Jay. And for you, I'll say this: you are obviously a longtime friend of Brian, our CEO, but you also looked at this from an investment standpoint because you wanted to also make it a social impact.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why we all get out of bed every morning. And super cool, super exciting.
All right. Thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.